Yes, we've got the 2 new members here this morning. Well, welcome. Thank you very much for coming. Apologies. Just to confirm as well on that point, because Wyn and Rhys haven't had the planning training yet, they're not able to contribute to decisions in today's committee. So I'll be giving them a quick initial training after the working group today. Thank you. Apologies.
Oes Einir Williams, Igor Glyn Lloyd, Tim Jones a Naomi Lewis Thompson.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr. Oes rywun dasgan diddordeb?
Any declarations of interest?
Nag oes. Cofnodion?
If not, we'll go on to the minutes.
Oes rywun yn eilio?
I propose that these are correct. Do we have a seconder? Thank you. Everybody in agreement?
Oes rhywbeth yn codi ohonyn nhw?
Anything arising from the minutes then?
Gan rywun? Os nad oes, awn ni ymlaen felly i'r
If not,
rhif 4.
we'll go on to number 4,
Cyfarwyddwr cynllunio rheolaeth tir.
which is reports from
No.
O, sori,
number
ie.
4 is the local development plan.
Felly, gywiro
Sorry.
iawn. Cynllun datblygu lleol di rhif 4 dyn. Issue?
No, sorry.
No, it's not. It says number 4 on the agenda, but there's some problem. I think there's a mistake on the Welsh version.
Reit, dyn ni at cyfarwyddwr cynllunio rheolaeth tir.
Okay.
Fawr. Dyn, Aled fy hwn, ia?
So this is Aled, please.
Dys Aled, diolch yn fawr.
Diolch, Mr. Cadeirydd.
Thank you.
Cais ydy o'n i ymchwel rhan o'r...
So this is an application to demolish part of a former hotel, Bonthy, and to erect 5 new open market dwellings, 4 townhouses and 1 detached, 4 affordable dwellings, and 3 with a terrace, and 1 within the former staff accommodation. The site is quite a big site in size, and it was a popular hotel in its day. This is it in 2004. And then more recently, as you know, there was a big fire in 2020 there, and it did quite a lot of damage to the hotel. So it's deteriorated since then, as these photos show. You can see the contrast between 2004 and recently, mostly because of the fire damage. This is looking at it from the Mawddach path, which is a very popular footpath, and it can be seen in the landscape.
And
now you can see it a little bit closer. And this is the hotel with the old chalets nearby, but these will come down. And they want to build a terrace of 3 affordable houses there. So the site is within the housing development boundary in Bonthy. And its development policies 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 18 and 30. It's to develop housing, and the main element is affordable housing. So, as we said, 1 detached and 4 affordable townhouses. This is the plan of the site. You can see the line with the existing building, and you can see where the new houses would go. Originally, they were going to put 1 house within the old hotel site. But one affordable dwelling will be within the, this is the car park for up to 25 cars will go here. So 25 spaces on this plan. So the intention is to take these down and then provide 3 affordable houses on this site. Standard affordable housing, 3 bedrooms. And the plans show that the new terrace will be higher than the present one. Also, there'll be one within the lower part of the present hotel, the bit that wasn't damaged by the fire. So with the open market houses, there are 4 what we call townhouses in one terrace with one separate one. And this scheme shows what's left of the hotel. Quite a modern design with these houses. A bit of discussion has been on these. So they want to take advantage of the position of the houses. This is the separate house, which is quite big, with a balcony at the front. We had comments from Llanelli Community Council yesterday, and they discussed this quite thoroughly. So it's not part of the report, so we wanted to show you these now. They wanted to consider water and sewerage, use of the stones. They need to recirculate the present stones. Possibly we'll be able to reuse some of them, but some might have been damaged too much from the fire. And they want to see the use of stone on the front of the houses. And they'd like a Section 106 agreement on all the houses. And they said, no obvious details, but car parks for each house. Affordable housing to be built first. And as you know, the park policy states that it should be 50-50. And they say they need better quality for the affordable housing. Bontddu has been designated as a secondary settlement for the purposes of the development plan. And as I said, there's a provision to provide 50% affordable housing. With the open market housing, there was a discussion on the design and layout of these and their height. As I said, they're quite modern, but there are some conditions to control light coming from the windows. And that will be looked at if you pass this today. Also, restricting their occupancy so that they're permanent dwelling houses are not holiday lets. The agent has put in a statement about that they will be restricted to this use. This is something that we can consider now, considering the number of second homes in the Llanelli area. 18% of houses in Llanelli are second homes. So that's the justification for this condition. So 4 affordable housing units. So usually we'd want the commuted sum, but having said that, we accept this because of the nature of the site. It's difficult to develop, it's on a slope, and there'll be huge costs with demolishing the present hotel. So we accept the justification that they've given as being sufficient. We don't have to follow the policy exactly. If we give permission, there'd be 106 agreement to ensure that the houses are affordable and continue to be affordable. So there'd be a phasing covenant. So they'd have to deliver part of the affordable housing before the open market housing. Visual amenities. Well, changing the use to residential. Following the fire, this was given. And since the last 5 years, the hotel has deteriorated more and more and is now an eyesore really on the landscape. So this is a chance to do something with the site. Having had a discussion with the agent, they've changed a bit of the plans. Obviously, work would be going on, and quite a lot of movements on the A496. So we'd need to have an environmental plan during the building, saying how the work will be done. And we need to be able to manage that in an effective way. With the roads, obviously when the hotel was there was access. So although we haven't had response from highways yet, with a previous application where there would be more units, they didn't have any objections. So there are no highways issues. Ecology and biodiversity. Green infrastructure statement, mitigation measures for bats, including for Woodcrete, Woodstone, bird nests, quite a lot of rhododendron on site, and that will be dealt with. Also, because the site is near protected sites around it, we'll have to do habitat regulation assessment, and the draft of that is part of your pack. And we'll be asking NRW to approve that one. But following their previous comments, it shouldn't be negative as long as we follow conditions. But we'll need further information from the agent to update the plans to include those. With the Welsh language, there's a community linguistic statement to support the application, benefits of having affordable housing for local people in need. Dark Sky Reserve, although the site isn't in the core zone of the Dark Sky Reserve, there was concern about all the glass in the front of the buildings, the open market ones. So we would suggest that there'd be a condition there and details to make sure that there's not too much lighting at night that would have a bad effect on the Dark Sky Reserve. But we must remember that this is in a village, not right in the middle of the countryside. So there are lights and so on around in the village. But we would have, as I said, a condition to manage the transmission of light. So to conclude, it's within the housing development boundary of Bonthe. It's in a precarious state, and this is a chance to improve the site. There are some restrictions, but because of how the hotel looks now, we propose that you approve this. But obviously, there'll be a section 106 to commit to the affordable houses. Before the open market houses are developed. So there are conditions that are part of the application. So quite a lot of information will have to be submitted again to make sure that the amenities for local people are protected and that we've got the right details of everything. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, Aled. Mae gan yr asiant Geraint Lewis.
So Geraint Lewis, the agent, wants to speak now. Welcome. We should all have had a copy of the statement that we sent out.
Here's your copy.
No, we don't usually share these statements out. Just as a verbal thing, just a chance for you to talk to the committee. So it's over to you. Yes, I asked for a written statement to be distributed. Yes, the purpose is if you couldn't come today, then we will distribute it, but otherwise we don't. I don't think you're allowed to do it otherwise. So you can read your statement. Yes, I had comments from the community. I had asked for comments from the community council. Or I'd asked to come and talk to one of their meetings, but I didn't have comments back. So what I've heard this morning from them is new to me. I hope we've tried to solve any issues, and the applicant, and this is important, he is providing the affordable housing, but these are will be houses for rent. Very difficult financially for people to, for young people to buy houses because of the deposit that they have to provide. So they're going to be for local people, Welsh people hopefully, to rent from the area. So 4 houses to be available straight away, and hopefully they're of a good quality and will provide good accommodation. Yes, the open market houses are better, but they have to be sold to be able to pay for the element of affordable housing. So there's not such a thing as an affordable bag of cement in Jewson's or anywhere else. The cost is what it is. So the building costs, as you all know, are high at the moment. So we've got to provide or make some profit from the open market housing in order to justify building affordable housing without making a loss. So that's where we've got to this point, and we've done quite a lot of research work into the ratio of open market and affordable housing. And so we're half a house short, as it were. So we've tried to make sure that we've had neat houses. If you don't know the site, you'll have seen the pictures. Following this building, since they started, the building, as Aled knows, is more vulnerable than it's ever been. It's actually moving. It's a 3-story that's very precarious, and it's only a matter of time until that one comes down. And the road between Bamouth and Dolgellau is right underneath it. So hopefully we won't have any accidents. So what you do with this site then? We've got to put something there that will pay its way. I dealt with an application in Ysgol Bonddu to try and have more affordable housing and so on. But nobody seems to want to build just affordable housing. So with this site, because of the costs that we've got, we need to have an element of 4 or 5 other types of housing as well.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr iawn i chi.
Thank you very much.
Sa rywun isio cychwyn ar hyn wan?
Does anybody want to come in now then?
Ma' Delyth yn rhoi llaw i fyny yma.
Delyth?
Delyth,
Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi, Mr Cadeirydd, yn gadw fi siarad. Fi 'di'r
Thank you very
cynghorydd
much.
yn yr ardal
I'm the
Bonddu.
county councillor in Bonddu area. I object giving planning permission to this today, mainly because of the design and layout of the open market housing. I want to say at the beginning, there's been a lot of discussion locally. Lots of people have been asking to come to meetings of the community council because of these houses. The design in the past has been different to what we see today, and it's still a problem. With developing on the site, people in the community and myself feel that we really want to develop on this site, and we want to see local houses for people there, because it's horrible as it is now, and we want to see something being built. But we're not sure that this development is quite what we want to see. With a ratio, it should be 4:4 of affordable and open market, according to the parks principle. With the design, we feel that the open market housing, especially one of them, don't fit in with the Bonddu area at the moment. Too much glass in the design, and it's not compatible with other houses in the area. So we need to think of changing the design. With regard to the affordable houses, and that they're for either to buy or to rent, I'd like to see that, look at that again, so that there's a mix of places to buy and to rent. But it appears that there's not enough room there. They're of satisfactory quality, but with the room around them for people to enjoy their amenities, there's not enough space around them. And the open market houses dominate the site, and we feel that that's not right. We feel that we need to look again at the design and the layout. And I would look at section 106 for all the houses, and we're very grateful to the park for the report, detailed report, and looking at section 106 on the affordable ones. And on that basis, I, as a local councillor, and also the community council, and the local people taking part in local discussions, feel that we want to see a development on the site, that at the moment the design and layout is not suitable. But with the conditions put by the park today, we're happy with those. And we think the conditions for building the affordable houses first is good. So that's my view. Thank you very much, Delyth. I propose refusing this.
Brian?
Thank you, Chairman. I think the recent comments are very interesting, and the design has given me some concern, which has been largely alleviated by the comments that were put into the conditions regarding light. I think the issue of the glazing visually to me is not such an issue, but the issue of light emittance, both in relation to dark skies, although I recognise it is in an area where there is other development. But I think we have to think very carefully about the dark skies issue, and more also is the impact of light emittance from a very large area of glass in relation to wildlife as well. So there are two issues there with the design. And the third one for me is reflection from the other side of the valley, bearing in mind this is an elevated site and it's overlooked by the Mordaunt Trail. So I have some concerns there, although if the conditions can be adequate, I think they could be mitigated. But then that does raise into the question of the design, as well as the stark contrast with the affordable dwellings. Although I recognise the need for that to get the affordable dwellings. The final point would be to do with the sewage. I did note in the report, although it wasn't mentioned this morning, I would like some reassurance that the HRA does look at the sewage element. I noticed that the Water Authority have requested a sewage plan or words to that effect. But bearing in mind that the outflow from the sewage works will be entering into the sensitive area of conservation, special area of conservation. What does the HRA also consider that? If not, can it consider that? Because there would be the question as to whether the wastewater treatment works has either the capacity or the ability to stop additional nutrients going into a special area of conservation.
Iawn, diolch Brian. Louise.
Yeah, this site is visible from my ward across the estuary, and it's an emotive application, this one, because at the moment it looks like a rather romantic Gothic ruin in the landscape, but it is obviously dangerous, and you get these explorers, don't you, who go around poking around in old ruins and things, and if anything happens, that would be on our head. Affordable housing, I don't like that saying because they're not affordable for locals on local wages. But why are the houses, the affordable houses, a different design from the open market ones? Are we saying open market ones nice and posh, but for the poor locals, well, there's a couple of rabbit hutches. I am obviously exaggerating, and I'm a bit confused. Are there 5 houses or 12 houses to be built? Because the description is a little bit confusing. I do agree with Delith. Maybe not refuse it, maybe defer it. But this is a big one and we have to do it right.
Iawn, diolch yn fawr, Louise. Edgar.
Edgar.
Ie, mae gen i un ddau cwestiwn ydy gwir.
Yes, one or two questions.
I have one or two questions, really.
I can see that there's a need to do it
as soon as possible.
Is this the second
set of plans? Yes.
So they've worked with the officers.
Cooperating with the officers on this. Have they? Yes.
Yeah, there was an original application.
The original plan was withdrawn.
I can
see that there's demolition work that needs to be undertaken.
To demolish the hotel.
But I don't know where the insurance was when it was being sold on, etc.
Mae gen I beth am y tŷ fforddiadwy ma nhw'n mynd i wneud ar ben ei hun o fewn y lle oedd wedi cael ei effaith gan y tân.
Ga i stopio di fanna, Edgar, mae yna broblem efo cyfieithu, dwi'n meddwl oes.
Right, can people hear me now? Yes? Yeah, I don't know what happened. It said the host muted you. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, dwi'n dall bod yna broblem.
So I
understand that there's a problem. There are 4 half houses. That's what it's supposed to be. There's a need for affordable housing in the area. And with the part of the house that hasn't been affected by the fire,
That
does
will have
that has
come
to
up to
be
the
up to the standard of affordable housing like
same
the
standard?
rest of them?
Or is it going to be a question of
Or would it be
knocking
a matter
that
of
down as
demolishing
well?
that?
So affordable houses have to be up to a certain standard, don't they?
Aled, i ateb hwnna?
Ie, Mr Cadeirydd, mae yna adroddiad strwythurol 'di cael ei
Yes, there is a
gyflwyno
structural
fel
report
cais.
that's been
Ma' hwn
presented as
yn
part
rhoid y lles angen i
of
gael
the
lawr oherwydd
application,
pwyllgor.
and that the hotel should be demolished, and the bottom part of the hotel could be developed on, and there's a scheme to have an affordable unit.
Mae'n amlwg i chi fel oda, ond dwi wedi trio yn y gyflwyniad bore yma ac yn adroddiad ysgrifio'r safle a dangos lluniau i chi.
So I wanted to show you the pictures because of the nature, and we're going to swap translators now.
Ella yn yr achos yma, sa oda'n hoffi mynd i weld safle cyn i chi benderfyniad a bosib oherwydd y bethau diolch sy'n cael eu codi hefyd lly. Ond chi, fel cyfrwyd, da ni wedi bod yn trafod y cais
We have been in
blaenorol.
discussions about the additional housing. This is 9 houses and 4 affordable houses. It was 13 previously. We've had discussions with the agent as well and the applicant, and we feel as officers that we can approve it now. Thank you, Aled. Did anybody else want to speak? It's not often that I say this, to be honest, but I think it would be a good thing for us to go out and see the site.
Rwy'n arall sy'n siarad?
Does anybody else want to speak? John Pugh has his hand up. So if Edgar is proposing that we visit the site, I'll second that proposal. We already have one proposal on the table. That proposal hasn't been seconded. A proposal was made that hasn't been seconded. A proposal has been seconded now for a site visit. With regard to procedure, I didn't ask for a seconder for Delis, and so there isn't a seconder. Is it okay that if I ask now? I'm afraid that a proposal and the seconder has been submitted in the meantime. So Delis is happy with the site visit in any case. John Pugh? I could see the commuted sum. I've always been concerned about this. Do they have to pay commuted sum? Because in a rural location, some people don't have to pay the commuted sum, so we should be fair with everybody, really, be it a major development or a minor development in the countryside. So I'm not very happy that one house is allowed to pay a commuted sum whilst another isn't. But of course, it's in relation to affordable housing, and I know as well that cement, for example, has increased in price and construction material otherwise. If I can just come in on that point with regard to consistency and how we implement this policy. How it works is there are 9 houses there, and half of 9 is 50%. 4.5 is the amount. You can't, of course, build half an affordable house, and that's why we're referring to the committed sum, so that we don't lose out. We're getting the financial contribution, which then goes towards the affordable housing developments, ideally in that area, but that doesn't always happen, of course, but that's what the half is. Because we can't have that half house, we're asking for that in the form of a committed sum. But could we ask for half more of a committed sum than rather than have less of a committed sum? I don't understand what you're saying there, actually. We want a committed sum for the other half as well. Obviously, 5 is more than 50%, isn't it?
Amdano pan yn gofyn am gyfraniad ariannol, dwi'n meddwl bod ni yn gofyn am gyfraniad ariannol efo aml oherwydd. Na, da ni yn gofyn am gyfraniad ariannol, da ni ddim di cael un oherwydd hyfywedd.
We've asked for a financial contribution because of the site.
Dwi di trafod hyn efo'r swyddog cyn heddiw.
I've discussed this with the officer before today. It is a difficult site to develop. There are high costs involved because of what the condition of what's already present there. We accept that the costs are higher, and so losing the half a house, we accept that because it is reasonable. Going back again, if a young person wanted to erect an affordable house, sometimes it isn't financially viable. They should have the same viability. I'm not saying that you should gain from it. We should have the same rule for everybody. Somebody who wants to erect a house in the countryside should have the same rules. May not be able to afford the commuted sum, but there should be the same argument for everybody. There isn't reasoning for commuted sum in every case. If it's a rural venture, it's different. According to the policy, then you wouldn't have to pay the commuted sum. But a lot of people who haven't been able to erect a house in the countryside because of the commuted sum, but not every case is the same. Have you still got your hand up, Edgar? No, I just wanted to conclude really. For us, these 4 houses in the location where they are important. You have to remember that 4 affordable houses have been half of what we've delivered of affordable housing in the past. And of course, we have targets that we have to pursue, and it's important that we go there to visit if we can approve this with affordable housing, and that's why I think we should follow that route and visit the site.
Yeah, just ar y pwynt
In relation to the point that Dilys, the local councillor, made, that we refuse, would that mean that we would defer rather than refuse so that we can visit the site? Because the point that she's made is valid. We do have a proposer and a seconder to visit the site now. So we'll put that on the table now. Dilys Lloyd Griffiths has her hand up as well. The only thing I wanted to say was in relation to the 9 houses and the commuted sums, if it goes down to 8, then there wouldn't be a problem with the commuted sum. If it was 8, that problem would disappear. But we do have to consider the application that's in front of us today, and that application is for 9. So Elvin has his hand up too. How many people are on the waiting list for houses for rent in the area? And are there local buyers who are interested in the houses as well? There are local people, first-time buyers, interested in buying in Bontddu, and there we do have some social housing in Bontddu. Most of them have been bought, unfortunately, and there is a waiting list in Bontddu, and it's not very long. And 18%, like Aled said, 18% of the houses would be housing for the holiday market. Second houses numbers are significant in Bontddu, and it's a real problem there. And second homes are not hardly being used at all there, and it doesn't contribute to the life of Bontddu and Tai Cynheuav. So that's 17%, it's 18%, like Aled stated, is a significant problem in Bontddu. Certainly the site needs to be developed for a good purpose, but I'm looking at the front perspective of the building. The block of 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one property on its own. The roof level of the house on its own is much lower than the others. I just see that this is very high on the side of the mountain, or hill, so to speak. According to the plans that we've had, they're not higher than the current or existing hotel. Okay. Okay, I also think that we should visit the site. A proposal and a seconder. One question, first of all. Please put it up to the vote. Can I just ask a question? Yes. The north go to the north and the south go to the south. What happens with this? Because it's a major development. Is it the same or not? Unless you wanted to measure it. I'm just ask the question before we put it to the vote.
Mr. Cadeirydd, can I just dod yn ôl ar un pwynt ar ei Brian?
Can I just come back on one point that Brian raised in relation to sewage and the main statement that we have to give to NRW? We have consulted with Dŵr Cymru, Welsh Water. They said it's fine that they wanted to use the main sewage, but I'll raise with our main ecologist if there will be any effect if we were to include that as a part of the habitat regulation assessment. Okay, thank you. We'll put it to the vote. Everybody wants to visit the site? Show of hands, please. Anyone against? Who's on the list for the south? Members, a visiting panel, that is. I'm sure that Avion will circulate that information to all of you so that we know who's on the south panel. Okay, the local development plan. Issue. Thank you and good morning. The report in front of you today relates to the first phase of amending the LDP. As part of the consultation, we undertook a review of the current plan and came to the conclusion that we needed a full revision of the plan, which means that we'll have a new plan. As the members know as well, on the 6th of December 2023, the Planning and Access Committee decided to delay the process in order to ensure sufficient staffing resources and in relation to the introduction of Article 4. But of course, Article 4 was confirmed on the 22nd of January and will come into force on the 1st of June. And so it's timely now that we revisit the timetable for the LDP. In front of you today, you will see the delivery agreement. It refers to Part 1 and Part A and B, the crucial steps in the process, resources, and to recognize any risks in relation to the process. So B includes the community involvement element, which outlines how and when the community will be able to get involved in the plan preparation process. The timetable is in the cover report and refers to the main steps. As you can see, the first step will be if the delivery agreement is agreed upon today, then consultation will occur between May and June and will be brought back to the authority for approval before it is published. There will be a public call for candidate sites during the winter before we consult on the pre-deposit plan, January 27, February 2027, and then will be deposit consultation in October. In relation to resource implications, We are able to meet the implications within the current budget and use the authority's reserves for public inquiries. I'm not going to run through the report in detail. The members have already discussed this in a working group when it was first drafted. There's a section on resources. There's a section on reporting to members, working with neighbouring authorities, detailed risk assessment, and then the community involvement. So the recommendation is that you discuss it, put forward any comments on the draft delivery agreement and agree on it. And just to add, we do have an intention. We're arranging a communities forum with representatives from community councils at the beginning of May so that they will be aware of the next phases. And that will be a joint community forum with the partnerships section, and they will be discussing cynllun Eryri. And so both plans will be revised jointly, side by side. Thank you very much, Elliw. Any comments, anyone? Edgar?
Just cynnig bod ni'n mynd efo'r argymelliad. Dwi'n gwybod
Just propose that we go along with the recommendation. There may be some amendments that may be required along the way, and that's expected. I'm happy with the report as it stands. Do we have a proposer or seconder, sorry, for that proposal? Yes, we do. Does anybody else want to speak? I can't see any hands up. Therefore, everybody in favour of accepting the report and recommendation? Thanks, Elliw.
Mae Brian wedi gofyn, mae hwnna wedi derbyn, mae Brian wedi gofyn.
Brian has asked for a date for a site visit. Is it next Wednesday?
Dim yr Mercher, ia?
Yndi, chdi fi a Fôn yn Aberdyfi.
Ydy, William?
It would be good for us to look at who the members are on the various panels so that we can agree on who will be attending.
So, ar y de, mae gennym ni Elwyn.
On the south panel, we have Elwyn, Anwen, Louise, Elfed, John Pugh, Meryl, Ryan Angel, Ellis Lloyd, and a vacant seat. So one of you new members. Ellis Lloyd or Ellis Lloyd Griffiths. In the north, we have a lot of vacant seats there, actually. In the north, we have the following.
Naomi, Luke Thompson,
and then we have 3 vacant posts there. So the vacant ones are in the north, aren't they? So we'll swap Ellis Lloyd with Ellis Lloyd Griffiths, shall we? They're just having an informal discussion at the moment.
Sorry, dwi'n mynd all, o'n i'n mynd dilyn y fanna wan, ac oeddech chi'n sôn dan Delys Lloyd.
Alice is just saying that she can't follow the discussion, and you talked about the two Delys Lloyds. You have a Delys Lloyd and a Delys Lloyd Griffiths now. For the south, we're going to have a south site panel visit. Members are as follows.
Louise Hughes, Elfed Roberts, John Pugh, Mary Roberts, Brian Angel, Delys Lloyd, and Delys Lloyd Griffiths. Okay.
So both Delys. Everyone else is in the north.
hapus i symud i'r gogledd achos bod fi'n sort
I'm
of
happy
canolbwyntio
to
dros hyn yn neud.
move on to the northern panel because I'm in the middle anyway. Okay, I'll remain as is then. And the date will be next Wednesday. Yes.
Dwi'n meddwl, os ydyn ni'n cael cynigydd I hynna.
If you could have a proposer for that. I propose that the date will be next Wednesday. What time? 10 o'clock. Do we have a seconder for the proposal? Can we have a vote on that? 10 o'clock next Wednesday. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. We'll move on, therefore, to the Section 106 agreements. These are for information. Any comments from anyone on page 104? Then we have outstanding applications where more than 13 weeks have elapsed. For information again, any questions? Page 106, 107. If not, we'll move on to delegated decisions. Once again, for information. Over the page on page 110. There is something that relates to Pyst Gwenyn. Director balcony and new glass at the back. What are Pyst Gwenyn? I don't put posts on the hives, so I'm not sure. It's our ecologist, as a part of the improvements and encourages bees. He erects posts as a part of the, it's shown on the plans. I'll find out more information for you, and I'd like a photo of the bees if you would. So refused applications for information. Any questions in relation to those? If not, that's it. By the way, can we send a message to Ivor? He's had heart surgery and he will be out of action for a month. I spoke to him yesterday. If you could send him a letter to wish him a speedy recovery. Okay then, thank you very much. There is a meeting of the working group. If we were to reconvene at 11:10, it'll be a different meeting, of course. So use the new link. Thank you very much.